Good evening. Okay, here is another theory video. Okay, talking about JSP EL expression operators. Okay, and it can be something. It can be like how EL expression is being evaluated. Okay, so suppose. Sorry for a moment. Suppose in JSP page we write, I still cannot using to have some highlight on the page. Okay, and when I using my mouse stand show page. Suppose we have a $ brace something brace. Okay, in a JSP page. How container evaluate this? Okay, it's gonna go several steps, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 listed here. So first, it will check if something, okay, the word something, okay, which is the word between the brace, is an attribute inside the page scope. If it find, it will gonna directly display it, okay, the value, okay, attribute have a key value, right, which means attribute key is something and the value gonna be displayed on the page, which is in the browser. And if page scope cannot find, we'll check request scope, okay, an attribute, the key is something, value gonna be displayed. And if it find, use it. If cannot, continue checking session scope. And same idea in the session scope, trying to find an attribute, key is something. And if find, use it. And otherwise, it will check the application scope, which is a global scope, and the last scope to set attribute, okay? And if it find in application scope, use it. If not, it's gonna ignore this expression because we told EL expression fails silently. Because if you cannot find, it just display nothing. Ignore it, okay? No error and no exception. This is the first syntax, okay? Second one, using dot operator. Dot means dot. Okay, so the syntax is like this. See the first line, okay? You using $ brace first object dot second object brace. Suppose this statement, this EL expression, okay, is used in one JSP. Then the first object, okay, can be two things. Let's take a look at the first one. The first object can be EL implicit objects. Do you remember? Like last video, we talked about the implicit objects available in EL, right? Like which means here, the first object can be represented as request scope, page scope, application scope, cookie, page context, param. Here, the example here is param. And normally, an implicit object except the page context, which is the page context itself. Others will always return a map to you. So after dot, we have a second object. In this case, second object is the key of the map. Okay, and we have example like param.name, which means it will return the value of the request parameter. The request parameter key is a name. Okay, suppose you have something like a T9, we're gonna display T9 on the page. Okay, so this is the first case. If the first object is an EL implicit objects. Okay, and the second one, if the first object is an attribute in one of the scope, page, request, session, application scope. Actually, for this one, we showed you demo. In our first EL expression demo, we have a employee dot first name, employee dot last name, employee dot address dot street. Okay, this is the case. Okay, the first object is an attribute in one of the scope 4 in total, and then the second object is a property of the bin, because in our example, like $ brace emp dot first name, emp is an attribute, right, inside one of the scope, and emp eventually will give us the value, the key value. The value is an employee object. Okay, it's a bin. Then second object here is called the first name. First name is a property of the bin. Okay, I think it's pretty clear in this case. Okay, using dot operator, 2 cases. Okay, next one, using a bracket. Okay, the 2 bracket operator. Some you may also call collection access operator. I forgot to change the text to be Korean new. Okay. The first line, $ first object bracket, second object bracket. This bracket can be used exactly the same as dot operator. Okay, everything you can do using dot operator, you can do using bracket operator. And bracket, this operator is more powerful than dot operator, because it can also be used to get data from a list, array, and the map too. Like we have example. If the first object is a list, okay, then second object is an index into the list. So we have example like my list and 1, and if you can using the double quote, it's gonna be the same. Okay, and there's something which dot operator cannot do for you, which is suppose the attribute has a dot inside, like when the attribute names has dots. So in that case you cannot using dot operator to retrieve the value. Okay, because it doesn't know this dot is actually an operator or is a part of your attribute name, so it cannot get. Okay, by default it will treat as a dot operator, but here we actually dot represent as attribute name. Okay, so in this case you must using operator, which is a bracket operator instead. So last example is to show you like a full dot bar is our attribute name. In this case you cannot using the previous way. Okay, you have to using this way. We will show you demo next video. Okay, we'll write the whole thing. And there are other operators like arithmetic operators like plus sign, minus, multiply, divide, mod. Okay, logical operators like ampersand, that 2 double ampersand, it means and. Pipe means or, and exclamation means not. It also has relational operators like equal, not equal. You can use them. You can use all of them inside your expression. Okay, which is ER expression. And those operators has a precedence, like in Java when we have logical operators, they have precedence. And the order I listed here is from the highest to the lowest. Okay, the highest will be the bracket operator. Okay, and after that we have a dot, okay, operator to retrieve attribute or key in the map. Then you have the parentheses. Parentheses you can use it to change the precedence. Okay, it's like in Java you can using the parentheses to change the precedence. Okay, and the others if you need, you just take a look at it by yourself. Okay, like a greater, binary, or others. Okay, so this is this demo talking about expression language, the operators. Okay, and Next one, I want to talk about reserved word first, and after that we will have a complete demo to show you everything we talked about the operator implicit object. Okay, thank you for watching this video, and see you next time. Bye bye.